HOAX, which is out on Tuesday of next week. Being the president's shadow chief of staff, as Mr. Hannity was known around the White House, could be a thrill, but it was also a serious burden. He counseled President Trump at all hours of the day. One of Hannity's confidants said the president treated him like his wife, Melania, like a wife in a sexless marriage. Hannity chose this life, so no one felt sorry for him, but the stress took its toll. Hannity would tell you off the record that Trump is a bat bleep crazy person, one of his associates said. Another colleague concurred. Hannity has said to me more than once, quote, he's crazy. Further into the book, quote, Charlottesville turned the whispers about Trump's fitness for office into full-blown shouts on other TV channels. At Fox, people were still just whispering and only off the air. I really do think he's lost it, one Fox executive remarked to me on August 19th, 2017. This person wasn't speaking colloquially. They genuinely questioned the president's sanity. And they weren't alone at Fox. The following month, after a drink or two, a prominent Fox anchor admitted their concerns about the president's mental health and well-being. Quote, he is not well, they said to me, in the same concerned tone that people use while talking about their grandfather. For some journalists, including at Fox, the president's mental health was a running line of speculation. Narcissistic personality disorder was the most comforting explanation because the other possibilities were far more frightening. Words like delusional and dementia were invoked in private. That's from the new book by CNN's chief media correspondent, Brian Stelter. The book is called Hoax, Donald Trump, Fox News, and the Dangerous Distortion of Truth. The book comes out August 25th. Brian is also the anchor of Reliable Sources on CNN. Mr. Stelter, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you making the time.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So you know enough about me to know that I don't like the cable news wars. It's not my thing.
You don't.
But
it's true.
I don't play those reindeer games, but I feel like this is important as news. I feel like you have written a kind of Rosetta Stone here, explaining, particularly to people who don't watch Fox, a bunch of what has gone on with this presidency that otherwise doesn't make sense. Is that a fair way to look at it? And is that what, partly what you were trying to do here?
Well, that's why I did it. So many sources inside Fox News were pouring their hearts out to me. And this was just in my normal course of work covering media. They said the channel that they used to love and respect had gone off the rails because President Trump slowly but surely took control of the channel. Roger Ailes was fired. He died. No one took over. There's a lack of leadership. And that lack of leadership was most devastating when the pandemic hit American shores. It's as if the president was lulled into a false sense of complacency by Fox. He pretended like the threat was over, and so did the network. And like I said in the book, we'll never know exactly how many lives were lost as a result. But it is terrifying to think that the president is so misled by this single network.
You detail a number of policy pronouncements by the president, actions by the president, wild accusations and provocations from the president that appear to have come directly from, in many cases, chyrons, the on-screen text put up by specific Fox programs. You describe them as sort of a shadow cable news government that appears to select policies for him knowingly. They may have been shocked at the beginning how much influence they had, but they know they have it now. They're using it knowingly while privately maintaining, many of your sources to you, that they believe the president is unwell, is mentally not there and not capable of holding down the job. That doesn't just feel dangerous, it feels like an incredibly salient political decision.
It's nothing close to journalism, and there are real journalists at Fox who are very uncomfortable with this, who are disturbed by the situation, but they don't have the power. The primetime stars have the power. The Fox and Friends people in the morning have the power. They are the ones talking to Trump, and they are the ones then turning around telling their friends that, in Hannity's words, Trump is a run-on center, in the words of an executive of Fox. He is not well. It's such a disconnect between the on-air rhetoric and the off-air reality. And that is what's propping up this presidency. It is hard to imagine the president at 40% approval were it not for these people on Fox who, I'm sorry, Rachel, I don't like to talk this way. They're lying about him every day. They are talking about a president that doesn't actually exist. Someone who stopped the virus when it was coming in from China. We all know that's not true. but these talking points are repeated over and over again in a form of propaganda we've never had in this country.
We're covering the 2020 conventions now. I remember on the first night of convention coverage this week, I talked about how the Democrats in 2016 had so much drama at the beginning of their convention, with the Russians dumping all of the stolen emails and the chair of the party resigning right at the outset of the convention. One of the things you write about in HOAX is how at the 2016 convention on the Republican side, Roger Ailes was fired from Fox. And your book, in large part, as a media book, is about how that losing that rudder, whatever you thought of Roger Ailes from a million different angles, it's something that has never been replaced at the network. What do you see as the future there? I don't feel like you're giving us a clear sense of where Trump and Fox go together from here on out.
Well, the last 5 years have been unpredictable. No one thought that Trump was going to get elected, and no one at Fox expected it. So, there was a situation where he gradually took control of the network because there was no other leader. And now folks inside Fox, including at the very top, the Murdochs, they're concerned about what happens if he loses. Will he try to launch his own network? I think, the only way our information ecosystem can get more poisoned, Rachel, is if Trump has his own TV network and tries to compete with Fox and tries to go even deeper down the rabbit hole, down that kind of QAnon world. That's a fear inside Fox Corporation, that Trump is going to become a competitor. I think there is a view at Fox, though, that being in the opposition is better. That being against Obama is easier than being for Trump. They'd rather be anti-Democrat than pro-Trump. And that's why I think it's important to understand Fox. Whether you want Fox defeated, whether you want it successful, whether you want it to have lots of competitors, you need to know how it actually operates. This is an anti-Democrat channel. That's what it's really all about. That's why they weren't showing the convention when you were last night, at least in the 9 p.m. hour.
And we will be showing the Republican convention next week.
Now, isn't
Brian
that
Stelter,
interesting?
the author of the new book,
These are not symmetrical.
Exactly, and you actually make a very good point in the book that there is no mirror image story of Fox, which I greatly appreciate.
There's not.
The book is called HOAX. Again, Donald Trump, Fox News, and the Dangerous Distortion of Truth. It is out on Tuesday. Brian, thanks for being here and giving us a preview. Good luck, my friend. It's nice to see you.
Thank you, you too.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.